Welcome to our Team Beauty Official podcast. It's all about you, girl. Here we are, season 2, episode 7, and extremely excited, happy, and truly taking that action in reinventing ourselves here in 2023. We are here in our podcast studio with the amazing Vivi Leal. She is definitely an OG, somebody that started with us in the very beginning when Team Beauty started, and we have the pleasure of having her here in the studio today. Welcome, Vivi. How do you feel today?
Excited and nervous at the same time. I have like that butterfly feeling.
Is this your first podcast?
It's my first podcast, yes.
Congratulations. Well, Vivi, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit prior to being in Team Beauty. I always love, for all of our listeners that are tuned in, if you guys have been a part of any of the other podcasts, you have heard so many beautiful and inspiring stories. So why don't you share with the gals your story prior to Team Beauty? Where do you come from? What did you do? And then how Team Beauty landed in your lap.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and start by saying I am 32 years old and I have 3 kids, okay, a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 7-year-old. Actually, Team Beauty came into my life, I would have to say it in the perfect timing. God knows, right, the perfect timings, even though we feel like out of the loop, right, and we don't know, we don't understand, right, but I welcomed it at the right time. I would have to say welcome because it's a decision, right, to start. So prior to Team Beauty, I was going through a divorce. I was 3 weeks postpartum. I actually had just had my baby, the 7-year-old. And, I was going through so many emotions, feeling lost, feeling broken, feeling like there was no way out in the situation, right? And I felt like I couldn't even ask for help because nobody could help me with that type of feeling, that I was going in that type of situation that I was going through. And so, when I said yes, it was yes to me deciding to become a new person, a new version of myself. I've been in Herbalife for quite some time now. I've been taking the product for 15 years actually. And so the product, I've always been in love with the product, but Team Beauty was really something that captivated me. And like really I took to heart. We had actually the 8th birthday not too long ago, and I was so emotional when I was sharing. I felt like I wanted to say everything that I felt, and I feel like this is the right moment to share it. Because when I started, I was so broken, Jerry. I was so broken. I was confused. I didn't know what my life was gonna look like in the next month, to be honest with you. I was caught up in like breastfeeding and like everything that comes with it, like kids and the house, and then what am I gonna do to even make a living, because now it's like reality check, you're not a stay-at-home mom anymore, so what now? So I caught myself just being confused in so many different areas in my life. So joining Team Beauty really helped me, being surrounded by women that have poured into me, even though sometimes they don't realize it. It's just that empowerment, that they give in the chats, or, that motivation of them posting their shakes and posting, their meals and stuff like that, for me was very life-changing, because the moments I felt like giving up and like quitting on everything, it was like, boom, there was someone on the chat, right? And someone that, was just giving me hope. Right. And so with that being said, fast forward, I joined a 12-week challenge. And I just decided to go all in. I decided to just say yes to the better version of me. I dropped 42 pounds in my first transformation. And I not only felt different, physically, I felt different emotionally, I felt different mentally, and spiritually, right? And that's what we do in Team Beauty, right? It's not just a physical transformation, it's everything in it. And I actually can say I vouch for that. I am a completely, would have to say, woman, thanks to Team Beauty. And I don't know, I feel like I can go on and on about this topic. It's been a journey of 8 years now, and every single year, every single transformation, it's like uncovering a different version of me, a better version of me.
There's so many different women that follow us, that are inspired, right? And that come from different backgrounds, different ways of life. And so if you can describe Vivi, prior to maybe marriage, right? Or prior to even your divorce, right? What would that Vivi look like? In 5 words, right? If you could describe her in 5 words, what would that look like?
I would have to say scared of being herself, because I felt like I had to be a certain way to be liked by certain people. So for me, it was like literally, I don't know if it's a word, but like self-preservation. Like I had to dim myself, and just hold myself back from really being me. And Vivi, prior to marriage, I was 15 years old.
Okay, so you got married?
I got married super young. Okay. Yes, so I dropped out of high school and I married and I became a mom right away. So for me, it was like I was still like uncovering myself, but it was like I was hearing Loli's podcast. So it's kind of similar to her story. I got married super young. I had a baby right away, right? And so it was like I forgot about even me. I always put myself in the back burner because I just wanted to be like the perfect wife and the perfect mom. Okay. So I would have to say scared, not being truthful to who I was. I would have to say very insecure, super insecure. And it's crazy because everybody would be like, you're so pretty and this and this and that. But I didn't feel it for myself. I didn't believe it for myself. I had so much negativity in my head, and I think a lot came with like sitting at home, and like allowing thoughts to creep in, right? Like, yes, the house keeps you busy, but there is the downtime, right? And the downtime is like you add yourself with so much negativity, or you see whatever you see in social media and it's just like, oh my gosh, she's perfect, I'm not. And it's just, you keep adding to that. And so it was just in 5 words, I was very insecure, Jerry. I think that one is a highlight. And I don't have another word to describe, but those are the 3 that highlight for me.
Awesome. And the reason why I'm asking, today's topic is accepting and recognizing your power. And obviously, over the period of the last 8 years, there has been a lot of working on yourself. For everybody listening, right? We don't just fix ourselves because we decide, or just because we're motivated today. Like, we fix ourselves over the period of time of being consistent in whatever area, that it is. And so having you here today, like you say, many people look at you and they say, oh, you're so beautiful, you're so pretty, you're always dressed nicely, your makeup is done, your hair is done. That is just something, right, that you already have within you. So what do you tell yourself every morning that is like, arréglate, or like that you're like, because maybe some people would like that, but it just doesn't happen. And you're a mom of 3, right? Yeah. So how do you find yourself acquiring that habit?
Honestly, Jerry, I actually got asked this question a couple years ago, and the answer still remains the same. It's, for me, it was always like, I wanted to feel good about myself, right? And I wanted to get rid of, some way or another, get rid of the feeling I was feeling, right? Or the negativity. And for me, it was like, I wanted to know that I look good. So it's like putting on that red lipstick, right? Doing your makeup, wearing a new shirt, even though you got it at Ross, you know, it doesn't matter. You were wearing a new shirt, and it's just something about wearing something new that it's different, right? It's like a different feeling. It makes you feel good. And so for me, it's every single day. I want to look good and feel good. So it starts with me looking at myself in the mirror and saying, you know what? Dang, girl, you look good. And so, yeah, that's my motivation every single day.
How did you acquire that habit though? Like, how did you?
I saw it in my mom.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up seeing it. I'm the youngest of 4 sisters, so don't have men in my house. I didn't grow up around men. So it was always like everything was so titty, like, and nice and dusted. Like literally you could never go like this. And I mean, like the house was always to the T. And you know, my sisters always got ready. I would always look up to them. And so they are the same way. You know, my sisters are the same way as I am. It's like they get up every single day. They get dressed every single day. Mm-hmm. And my mom is the same way. We would not see her out of the room if she wasn't ready. And so I love that about her. And I just feel like I kept it on, you know, and my sisters did that well. As well.
Nice. So obviously, your surroundings and your environment
has a lot to do with it. Yeah. I hope my daughter is like that.
Hey, as long as she sees, that's what she sees. Yes. So I'm sure she's gonna have that cuteness in her too. So inside of accepting and recognize your power, I've seen you obviously, you know, at your lowest, right? And I've seen you also victorious and triumphant in your best times as well. And so, you know, what can you share with us about, you know, accepting and recognizing the power that you have within? When was it when you were like, you know what, like, I'm better than this. I'm powerful. I'm strong. I'm capable. Like, at what point did you decide and tell yourself, like, yeah, enough is enough, and I'm going to look for that better version of me? At some points, I know it was physical, you know, looking and feeling good. And at some point also it was your finances, right? Stepping into that boss babe, right? Entrepreneurial spirit and bringing your own money home. So when was it? How did you start accepting that? And how can you share with the girls so they can too, you know, start recognizing their personal power?
Yes, I love that you asked that because you guys, I want to really just say that stepping into your power is not something that is done overnight, obviously. Yes, one is a decision, but it also takes little small habits, good habits, every single day, you know, to achieve that. And I will have to say that I did took in for myself therapy. Okay. I know a lot of people don't talk about this, but I am open here today, you know, being honest and truthful with you. You know, I've always God first, right? But I did feel like I needed to speak to someone about things that were going on in my head. I don't want to get emotional, right? But this is just me being real with you. And, you know, I was very depressed, you know, because I didn't know, like, I knew it deep down inside of me, I am meant for more. I just didn't know where to start or how to even like have it come out, you know? And so I did reach out to someone, you know, and they helped me with that. I did a lot of self-healing. I did a lot of, you know, getting rid of resentment, forgiving, you know. I had to let go of all of that was holding me back in order to become, you know, and stepping into my power. And I still feel like every self-love or stepping into your power is an ongoing journey. I don't think there's a finish, like project, you know, like it's every single day. It's working on yourself. But for me, it was like really like, no one's going to help me. I have to help myself, you know, and I did want to become someone more. And because of that, you know, I just was ready. I was just ready. I was ready to just say yes to everything that I know I deserve. And getting rid of that victim mentality and reprogramming my brain, you know, reprogramming myself. Like, this is not what you want. This is not aligned with what you want. So we have to get rid of it. Right. And so for me, it was just I would have to say 5 years ago. 5 years ago. But the true, I would have to say real me is like 3 years. With really being who I am, who I know I really am, and not hiding myself. This is who I am. You accept me, don't accept me. This is who I am, right? And that's the thing that I had to be okay with, because I did fall into that. I would have to say socialism, where it's like you want to please everybody else, right? And you're like, you forget that it's like, no, like, this is who I am, right? And there's just some people that are meant to be in your life, and that are meant to like help you grow into the better version of yourself. And there are just some that you just let go of, right? And so I had to be okay with that. That's one thing I would have to advise the girls, is like, don't be afraid to let go of things, because it's scary. It's scary. It could be a best friend. It could be whoever the case may be. It could be someone holding you back, or yourself holding you back. But at the end of the day, it's like you have to see, what is it that I want to achieve in the next year, or the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and who is she? Who is that person?
What would you tell yourself?
Who is the person in the next 5 years?
When you would think about that, like, what would you tell yourself when you would think about
Chingona.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
One of the things, Jerry, I know you know this. I let emotions get the best of me most of the time. It was just like, if I don't feel good, I don't feel good, and that's just what it is. It's just, I'm not gonna get up.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah.
And it's like, one of the things I remember, Suhaila actually came to one of the trainings, and I remember she was saying, like, does anybody have a question for me? I don't know if you remember this. It was a couple of years ago. I think it was like 5 years ago, when she came down, and she asked, is there something that you feel is holding you back from becoming more? And I raised my hand, where I was like very timid, but deep down inside, I'm not timid, guys. I am very, very bubbly and out there. And so I picked up my hand, and I said, me. And she said, okay, what is it that holds you back? And I said, emotions. Like, I let emotions get the best of me. And I remember she said, we all have emotions, right? And whether we feel good or we don't feel good, like, there's still things that have to get done at the end of the day, right? And it's true, because I would fall into the emotions, and then dang, the bill was there, right? And it's just like, oh, now what? The emotions are they're worse, right?
Yeah, the emotions don't pay the bills. Ni el amor.
Ni el amor. So yeah, a lot of it was my emotions would help me back.
Okay, awesome. And so, at that point, you're like, okay, I want to be chingona. That's what you would tell yourself, right? And so when you realize what was holding you back, give me some examples so the girls can have an idea, right, of how to step into their power. So you're in this moment of like, what do you want? Who do you want to be, right? What are your goals? And, you're confronted with yourself. So at that point, what do you decide? Like, when you're going right or left, right? What did that look in your headspace? One of them was emotions, and the other one is what?
The other one was like, I'm big shit. Like, I know I'm capable. I know I'm worth it. I know my kids are worth it. And I'm not gonna let it get the best of me. But then it was the other side, right? The emotions, and the no, you suck, you this, you that. And sometimes we adopt words from people that something that you talked to Brianna about in the podcast, that I was like, oh my God, like, yes, that I wanted to talk to you about that. Like, people put certain names on you, and because you love them, you think that they're telling you the truth, and you receive them to be true for you, and it's just like, no, girl, they're not. So you have to know who you are,
the adopted identity.
And so it's like, no, like you have to know who you are, right? And not allow anyone to like come here and tell you like who you are. It's like, no, right? So for me, it was, I knew that I didn't have another option to make income, right? Because, well, I did, right? Obviously, the what do you say, corporate America, right? But that's not what I wanted, right? I would see, what Herbalife could give, and the
Oh,
opportunity.
I thought you were gonna say the honey money.
Well, that is the money. The money, the opportunity that it gave me, because coming into this business, talking about business, sorry guys, but I just had to say it.
Yeah.
It is what it's part of me, right? It's like, I didn't finish school, right? I didn't have a background in anything. I didn't have anything to like sustain me in these times, right? So it was like, I'm gonna make this shit work because it's gonna work. Like, no plan B, right? So I went all in. And when I started seeing like the money come in, it's like the 1,000, 2,000, the 3,000. It was just like, oh my God, like this is real, right? So for me, it changed like everything about me, because once you get confidence. Like when you know you can make the money, it's like you gain
On your own.
on your own. You gain confidence. It's just like, I got this, right? And so for me, that's another thing. That I would have to say to women: make your own money. You don't have to wait on the husband to buy anything. You got yourself. And so I'm very, very proud of that, because of everything that was going on, the chaos, the kids, the divorce, everything going on. I was still able to build a beautiful business in this community. So
That's powerful. That's power. And so being bold enough to accept the positive shifts that you made in your life, right? Being able to be grateful in the middle of it, even though life is not perfect, or you're not, at the best, or all of our dreams haven't come true and all of this, but being able to say thank you to yourself, accept, the amazing things that you've shifted forward. How does that feel to look back at that 15-year-old, at that 20-year-old, even I could remember you at the beginning. The days right now have been gloomy, cold, rainy, and you with the C-section, getting all 3 kids, taking them to school, just it being so difficult, but still having to be strong for your children first, right? And now being able to stand your ground and, not only be strong for your children, but know yourself, your personal identity, knowing the things that you want, and being able to look into the future like, I'm building this. So how could you, first of all, tell yourself like, thank you, pat yourself in the back, but also, give us 3 steps, for the girls, so that way they can start shifting, in that way, if that's where they find themselves, just the way that you were.
Well, one of the things was like, no one's going to do it for me. Right. So that was one. And that was the strongest one. Second, I didn't like that in the past, someone would say like, without me, you're nothing, right? Without me, you're not capable of, without me, this, without me, that. Right. And so I had to prove to myself that I was, so it was that like coraje, I don't know how to, the anger, I would have to say, that kind of like pushed me also, of like, what do you mean I can't? Like, yes, I can. And it was just like, I would push myself to prove to myself. And, with saying thank you, every single day, Jerry, everybody has struggles, and every single day we all have life happen to us, but life is perspective. I've learned that, life is what it is. And it's like, you get to mold it, or you get to determine how you want the day to end, right? And so can start off wrong, but then you can shift that, right, and make it into something positive. And so I've learned to do that as well. A lot of it comes with reading, listening to podcasts just like these, that, they fill you up, and not only fill you up, but they give you that something, right? That something that you're looking for, that answer, or that little pivotal moment, right? They're just like, oh my God, that was it. And so it's in a continuous journey, of like reprogramming myself, but a lot has to do with God, books, podcasts, and continue to like keep working on myself and give myself the time, because apart from everything that we have going on, like being a mom, being a wife, being whatever it is, give yourself some time to say thank you for what you've done, but now it's you time. Like coming to the workouts, at least an hour a day, or going for a walk, or meditating, or just setting Sunday aside for you so you can get the week ready. That has been a big one for me. If that's a huge one that I can give the girls, is like Sundays for me is like, okay, like who's gonna pick up who on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like programming myself. What do I have going on? Like, what's more important to me? What do I need to get done first? Because I would have to say time management for me was a big one, because I was all over the place. I was all over the place, catering to everybody, but not to myself, And so let's not forget, to thank ourselves, but also make time for ourselves. I would have to say that. And, gift yourself things. That's my way of saying thank you to myself. Go get your nails done. Go get, a shirt, or go get, something for you. That's my way of like.
Is that your love language?
No, it actually is not.
What's your love? I've been asking everybody. Since
Yeah.
Podcast.
I know. I know you're gonna ask. So I believe we all have all of them, but mine, I would have to say, is quality time and words of affirmation. So for me, it's like you taking the time aside for me is like, I know you love me, words of affirmation, that's a big one for me. And then it's physical touch as well. So, and then the rest.
First time.
Yes.
Awesome. Great to know. Wow. Thank you so much for your story, Vivi. This has truly been amazing to be able to see somebody, like you from the age of 15, married and pregnant and 3 children already. How old are you right now, you said?
32.
32 years old and thriving.
And thriving, baby.
And thriving. Accepting and recognizing your power, truly stepping into that, and acknowledging, right, the small steps. Your bravery on knowing your weakness, right? Where exactly do I need help in? How can I help myself, right? And just bringing down the guard, right? So many times we have a guard up where it's like, I know. I got it, right?
I'm one of those.
Yes.
I'm one of those. Like, I want to fix everything for myself first. And then once I can, then it's like, okay, then. But, a lot of that time is like, I have to trust God in a lot of things, right? And it's like, a lot of times it's just like, God is like, no, let me handle it. It's like, no, God, I got it, and it's just like, no, you don't got it, and allowing yourself not to be perfect. It's part of it, but grabbing onto someone, that's going to be there to help you and say, you know what, like, hey, maybe there's ways to, since words of affirmation is big for me, it's like, hey, maybe there's ways that I can help you, so yeah, that's definitely, Jerry, I would have to say, is like holding on to mentors, people that already have the lifestyle that you want, that you're looking for, and asking them for advice, asking them, you don't want to ask the wrong people. You don't want to ask people for their opinion without going to first someone that, you would trade places with. Yes, exactly.
So. Yes, absolutely. So that is the task of the week, right? Definitely accepting and recognizing your power. You know you got it going on, girl. Stop doubting yourself, right? And ask yourself, right, what are those things that I can get better at? What are those things that I need help in? But also, what are those things that I'm good at, that I know I'm capable of, and that I could step right into that this week to be a better me, a fitter me, a healthier me.
We're on a 10-day challenge.
For those of you who don't know, at the end of February, we both will be how much lighter?
10 pounds.
10 pounds lighter. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
We held ourselves accountable. We were at a workout actually, and we're having too much fun. I've been trying to end this podcast twice already.
Right? I'm like, no, Jerry.
But for everybody else that is listening, there was a workout we were at, and everybody said, my goal for February is 10 pounds. Everyone was like, oh yeah, me too.
Not everybody joined. Did you see that?
And me and Vivi said, you know what? Let's bet on it. We're going to lose them because we're going to lose them. So here is to the 10 pounds.
10 pounds down, baby.
Okay. Y'all are going to see at the wellness retreat. We're going to step in there.
Yeah.
Very powerful and unrecognizable. Disrespectfully looking hot. We're already hot, but looking hotter. So, make the shift. Sometimes we feel like there's enough time. And you know what? Now is the time. Now is the time to start making shifts, accepting yourself, being good, but also acting more on the things that you would love in your life, the things that you would want. So say thank you, right? Send a message of appreciation to the people that have pushed you, but most importantly,
to
yourself. Thank you so much, Vivi, for this podcast.
I loved it.
We had a blast, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.